Our story takes place in ancient Persia, a land of majestic palaces and vibrant marketplaces. The Persian Empire stretched far and wide, ruled by the mighty king Xerxes. He was a king of great power and wealth. His word was law. In the heart of the empire lay the grand city of Susa. This magnificent city was home to people from all walks of life. It was here that our story began. It is a story of courage, faith, and the triumph of good over evil. It is the story of Esther. King Xerxes was known for his lavish feasts. He loved to entertain his nobles with grand celebrations. During one such feast, the king, fueled by wine, demanded that his queen, Vasthi, appear before him and his guests. He wanted to show off her beauty. But Queen Vasthi, a woman of strong will and dignity, refused the king's command. She believed it was beneath her to be put on display like an object. The king was furious. He felt his authority had been challenged. His advisors, fearing the king's anger, suggested that Vashti be banished from the kingdom. The king, blinded by rage, agreed, and so Queen Vashti was stripped of her royal title and sent away. In the aftermath of Queen Vashti's banishment, the king's advisors suggested that he hold a royal competition to find a new queen. Young women from all corners of the empire were brought to the palace in Susa. Among them was a young Jewish orphan named Esther. Esther was a young woman of remarkable beauty and grace. She was raised by her cousin Mordecai, a devout Jew who worked in the king's court. Mordecai had advised Esther to keep her Jewish heritage a secret, fearing prejudice and danger. Esther, trusting her cousin's wisdom, did as she was told. She entered the competition, unaware of the significant role destiny had planned for her. The competition for the queen's position lasted for months. Each day, the young women were presented to King Xerxes. The king was captivated by Esther's beauty, charm, and gentle spirit. He chose her to be his new queen. Esther, with her hidden Jewish identity, was now the most powerful woman in the vast Persian Empire. Even as queen, Esther continued to keep her Jewish heritage a secret, as Mordecai had advised. She remained unaware of the danger that lurked just around the corner. A danger that threatened not only her life but the lives of her people. Section 5. A plot uncovered. One day Mordecai overheard a conversation between two of the king's guards. They were plotting to assassinate King Xerxes. Mordecai, ever loyal, immediately reported the plot to the king through Esther. The king investigated and found the report to be true. The guards were apprehended and punished. The king's life was saved. Though Mordecai had acted bravely, the king did not immediately reward him. The event was recorded in the king's chronicles, but Mordecai was for the time being forgotten. Little did he know, this act of loyalty would have significant consequences in the days to come. Section 6. Haman's evil scheme. At this time, King Xerxes had a trusted advisor named Haman. Haman was a proud and arrogant man. He expected everyone to bow down before him. When Mordecai refused to bow to Haman, citing his faith, Haman was enraged. Haman's anger towards Mordecai festered and grew. He decided to not only punish Mordecai, but to annihilate the entire Jewish population in the Persian Empire. Haman went to the king and, using deception and lies, convinced him that the Jews were a threat to the kingdom. He persuaded the king to issue a decree ordering the extermination of all Jews in the land. Section 7. A courageous decision. When Mordecai learned of Haman's evil decree, he was devastated. He tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and mourned openly. He knew that he had to act quickly to save his people from impending doom. He sent word to Esther, revealing their shared Jewish heritage and begging her to intercede with the king. Esther was terrified. Approaching the king without being summoned was a crime punishable by death. Moreover, revealing her hidden Jewish identity could put her own life at risk. She hesitated, torn between fear and her love for her people. Section 8. The King's Banquet. Mordecai, understanding Esther's fear, sent back a powerful message. He reminded her that her position as queen was not a coincidence but perhaps destiny. For such a time as this, he said, implying that she was placed in a position of power to save her people. Esther, her heart filled with courage, decided to act. She arranged 2 elaborate banquets for the king and Haman. At the first banquet, Esther kept her plea hidden, further raising the king's curiosity. At the second banquet, Esther, with remarkable bravery, revealed her Jewish identity to the king and exposed Haman's wicked plot against her people. Section 9. The Fall of Haman. King Xerxes was shocked and enraged by Haman's deceit. He had been manipulated into signing a decree that would lead to the massacre of innocent people. He immediately ordered Haman to be hanged on the very gallows he had built for Mordecai. Justice was served swiftly. The king, deeply regretting his decision, was now faced with another problem. The decree to exterminate the Jews had already been issued. Laws made by the king of Persia were irreversible, even by the king himself. Section 10. A time for celebration, Purim. To rectify the situation, King Xerxes issued a new decree, granting the Jews the right to defend themselves against their attackers. This allowed them to prepare for the day Haman had planned for their annihilation. When that day came, the Jews, led by Mordecai, emerged victorious. Mordecai was appointed as the king's highest advisor, taking Haman's place. The Jewish people were saved from extermination. To commemorate this miraculous victory, they established the festival of Purim, a joyous celebration filled with feasting, gift-giving, and the retelling of Esther's bravery. The story of Esther is a timeless testament to the power of courage and faith in the face of adversity. It teaches us to stand up for what is right even when it is difficult. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, hope can triumph over evil.